been funny if I showed up and went no.
That'd have been crazy. Or yellow shorts.
You had to be like, man, you got a camera in my house.
Nah, we just be in tune. Hey, what's up? This is Randomly Intentional. I'm Timothy on Purpose.
What is it?
Randomly Intentional. My mouth is still trying to learn how to work this morning.
It's trying to wake up, right?
Yeah,
This is Rain. This is Rain. As always, it's us. Here we are. We're back at it, man. I love it.
At it again, bro.
How is it for you? How is it for you? I know our time is a little bit random too, man. I hope I think we're still early in the game. I don't think people sitting there waiting at 5:30 for somebody to show up. I think people catching this when they catch it.
The only thing we doing right now, what we doing, I think, we doing everything right as far as just, lining it up and being consistent and being intentional. But I think there's nobody really that has tapped into the jewel of our randomness. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
no one's sitting there, I don't think, right now waiting for us to pop on at between 5 and 6:30 in the morning. However, once some of this stuff, I was looking at what we did yesterday, and I'm just like, man, if I had the time right now to clip a lot of what we have up, we'd probably have a little bit more of a solid audience right now.
Bro, if we had time to go through all the episodes from when we started till now, which has been, I don't know, a few weeks now, we have absolute gold in there.
Yeah, we got some solid nuggets.
It's just that they're all 2 hours, and so you got to sit through that.
It's like a mountain. Every time I start walking, I did lock in on Opus clips though, you know what I'm saying? So, which is it's a solid situation. I had locked in with captions, but I've been working with it on my phone, so it only allows you to actually clip 5 minutes instead of 10. So it's like trying to pull a good, 6 or 7 clips out of 5 minutes.
Which is funny because when they first started, Opus Clips first started, their free account was you could upload an hour of footage and clip that. But I think they've chopped it down now.
You can upload the whole video, but you can only select up to 5 minutes of what you upload to clip now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know if that's how it was in the beginning, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think you could upload a whole hour, and then it would just go through and pull all the clips out.
Yeah, I think that might be the desktop version.
Could be that too.
Yeah, because this tells me, and if I want to do any more, I gotta go on a desktop version. But I know me myself.
That's what it is then.
If I go on that desktop version, my wife and my kids probably aren't gonna see me for a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it. But I mean, that's the cool thing about Opus Clips is that even though there's still some editing you can do after the fact, making sure the captions are right, there's still some little stuff you can do to fine tune it, but it takes most of the legwork out. You put it in, you get what you get out of it. Sometimes, my experience, sometimes it'll clip something and you look at it and you be like, I was almost there. Because, you and I, we tend to be a little bit perfectionist or very intentional about how we have a very clear idea of how we want something to turn out sometimes. Mm-hmm. So you have to accept that it's not going to be the way that it would be if you would have gone in and just clipped it and done it manually. You're trading some of that accuracy for the quickness and the convenience of it, because sometimes it'll have something that's almost there and you're like, man, if it would have just put this instead of that or cut it here instead of there, that would have been perfect. But there's only so much you can do. I'm sure tools like that will evolve and get better and better over time to make it easier to make those adjustments. Mm-hmm. Give me a starting point and then let me expand it here or, move it there. I wonder if it'll start to do that a little bit. But, I mean, there's an old saying that I like to go with, and I think it's even more pertinent for you because you're even more of a perfectionist than I am, is that done is better than perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that was the attitude that got us sitting here right now, is instead of, because we used to record stuff and then wait to edit it, but it's sitting around editing it, how much stuff were we putting out? Nothing. Now look what we got out here. In the last 2-3 weeks, we probably got at least 12 episodes. I don't know. What are we on now?
This is episode 13.
I just guessed that, bro. That's crazy.
We literally have over 30 hours of just,
done is better than perfect. That's proof in the pudding. Okay, so I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking, until we get to a point where we have time to go back and clip stuff and we have an audience, all that, the other thing that you and I have spoken about many times that is very true is that we are creating a catalog or a reference of how you and I feel on several topics that will have value for our families at some point when we're gone, for our kids, for our wives if we survive them, or if they survive us, I mean, and for ourselves to look back on 10, 20 years from now if we survive ourselves. And so in that spirit, I thought, well, because you also had a really cool moment at the end of the show yesterday, which is something we hadn't even really been thinking about because we're just having our natural conversations. But you were like, hey, if you got any topics, like we don't want to become controlled and construed. We don't want to come and sit down and be too intentional because it'll distract or it'll take away from what we do. We sit down and we just open up and let the spirit tell us where to go and guide us. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to start sitting down and being super artifacted and be like, oh, we got to talk about this. We got to stay on topic. We don't want to do that. But it was still nice to say, hey, like if you hear anything, because it's nice to have an outside perspective. Maybe they hear something that we're talking about and they can help us think it out even more. Or maybe there's something that naturally makes sense for us to talk about. That's all good. But one thing I was thinking, getting to my point, the one thing I was thinking about yesterday was that if this is an archive for ourselves and for our families and for the world, we should then at least maybe try to be intentional to cover topics that are important to us, right? And I think we land on them accidentally all the time, but maybe are there things that matter to us, some of which you and I may not have the same ideas about, that we can dialogue about and see? Because for you and me, it's never about a debate. It's never about let's sit down and debate. We don't. There's no enjoyment in that for us just for the sake of debating. If you and I are debating or disagreeing, it's because we want to arrive at the same understanding together. It is a mutual effort to try to understand something from two different places,
or just come to an understanding of like who you are. It's kind of like, if you have an opportunity to learn more about somebody and it takes a little bit of attention to get there, that's kind of, I believe, and I'm learning more, you know what I'm saying? I believe that's what helps marriages to gain so much depth and width, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not be so horizontal, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the same thing with your children, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes tension for them to get to where you want them to arrive to, and for you to get to where they want you to arrive to. And so, yeah, I agree with you, bro.
That friction, and we talked about this just recently in the context of ourselves and our own internal battles. That friction has a polishing effect, right? And so you can't shy away from that. You can't be afraid of that. Now, if you're not coming from a foundation of love, then it makes sense to be afraid of that confrontation because you can't be sure where that confrontation is going to go or where it's going to end up. But when you're starting from a foundation of love for yourself, for someone else, then you really can't be too afraid of that confrontation because it's coming from a good place and it's going to a good place. And like you said, that's just the process of understanding an idea, understanding each other deeper, and you don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to have those interactions. I was going to say uncomfortable, but they don't even have to be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like when you and I interact in a way where we're not agreeing on something, I'm not uncomfortable at all because I have no doubt about where you're coming from and you have no doubt about where I'm coming from. There's no anger. There's no hate. There's simply, let's work to try to figure out this idea, and I don't agree and you don't agree, but there's never any moment where I doubt there, where it flips, where I go, oh, we don't get along, or we don't,
he's against me.
It's never that. Right. I never go to that. And I guess I wasn't trying to say that, but I guess based on yesterday, you and I weren't really agreeing on something.
There's been a few times, where we're passionate. We believe in what we believe in, and we did not come from the same walk. Life lined us up to where we went from associating within a specific group to becoming curious about how one could accent one another's life, whether it was through music or whether it was just through like socializing.
Right.
And then we ended up the best of friends. I seen that you were a place of solace for me. And then I'm not sure, because I'm not you, what I became for you But then I think over time, even the tensions that we've had of you challenging, bro, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like with what you're doing, bro, are we gonna make music or are you gonna gangbang? And I don't even think you were asking in the sense of like, you need to choose. I think you were just like, from this place of like, even though you were in the midst of individuals who were living a specific life of, you know, that was unhealthy and dangerous, I think the closer we became, I think the more you were just like, you know, I don't want to see that happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a lot more to offer than you might believe, you know what I'm saying? Which is why, you know, the more your door opened to me to come through, the more you answered your phone when I called, the more I started realizing that, man, you know, he always answers the phone. He always opens the door. That does something to a heart that's in a very dark place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, I think over time we've had moments in our just
that
life.
Acceptance of each other is what you're saying. We accepted each other.
While in
because I didn't just accept you. You always say that you accepted me too.
That's what I'm saying. But I can speak. I can speak from that. I can speak from knowing that. I was the one asking myself, why is this dude always answering the phone? Or why does he always open the door? When I really was like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was experiencing myself within my own camp. I was starting to learn distrust and mistrust. And it was just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I can always depend on this person, and it doesn't have to be a stress call. It doesn't have to be, hey, they tripping over here. I need to pull up. It was more so like, I'm calling from that part of me that is really reaching for, you know, what we were talking about yesterday, the change and the transition. I haven't really spoken yet or decided it yet, but I feel safe over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel, and interestingly enough, it's I think back on it now, and it's just like, accountability for me was not something that I always understood in the way it was presented by you. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So, you know, when you coming from the life I came from and operating within the cohort of dudes that I was pushing a line with, accountability always was enforced physically a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Or like verbally abusively, like that was the intention. Like, whereas with you
were accountable to do bad things.
Well, I'm saying like you held yourself accountable, or people held you accountable based off of not to do bad things, but if you didn't uphold a code, or if you didn't follow through, you know, discipline and punishment were inevitable.
Is it fair to say you were accountable to continuing to perpetuate the traumas on yourself? Is that fair?
Well, I don't even think that is true, but I'm coming from the perspective of like, there was a point where I could go to two different studios. Mm-hmm. I could go over to your house, or I could go to something that was going on in the deep. And there was a point where I had to make a decision of like, where would I rather be, and where would I be less distracted with what I have, which is ultimately why I created my own situation in my own home. Right. But I used to kind of feel like I had to be with the homies in the hood, or at Bort Studio with homies when I was doing that, because I felt accountable to them in a way. I felt like I always needed to be around, so if something happened, it wasn't about mounting up. We were already, and I felt like a force. So it was like.
Did you feel like you were protecting them?
Yeah, I mean that's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when.
But is that what you were feeling, like a responsibility to be there to protect them?
I felt accountable to them.
Right.
I felt like I had to hold myself accountable to the responsibilities of being a first responder, and
Right.
it's easier.
Wow, first responder.
When you're here, when you're actually there.
I don't know if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what that's what a lot of us frontliners were kind of identified as. And it's interesting, that term came up a while ago for me, and I was just like, man, who's always on the scene first? You know what I'm saying? It's either the ambulance, the fire department. It was like I don't know, it was a weird parallel, but it was true. Like there were some of us that were just always there first. You know what I'm saying? There were some of us that were always there, whether it was to aid or whether it was to reinforce. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think you were someone where I believe, and I come to understand now more so, you were someone that I was able to develop that being able to kind of stand in the peace of the chaos, being able to stand within the peace of the chaos that could push you around in a moment of being held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people want to run from it because it's just like, my pride. Some people, I don't know, like it didn't stand too long with me, you know, and you challenging me at times, I think was bold, but it came from a place of love. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know how to identify it then, but it was consistent enough to where even when I approached you when I came home this time, it was more so like, man, I don't want to be a disappointment to this dude again.
One thing I can say is that we have never been different with each other. We've never changed.
Right.
We've grown individually.
Yeah.
And we've grown at the same pace, and our lives have kind of been in parallel, even though obviously they're unique. But the way that we have treated each other, respected, loved each other, interacted with each other, enjoyed each other's company, it's never changed at all. From 20 years ago, whenever it was, to now, the interactions are still the same. It's just that now we're wiser, more mature, older, been through a lot of life. So obviously our conversations have more depth. They're different. We're talking about different things. Luckily, we've grown at the same pace in the same direction, and we're kind of in the same space in life, talking about the same things. Our birthdays are just a few weeks apart. We're very connected. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Born the same year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Both Virgos.
Your birthday is August 28th. Mine's September 17th. So we're literally 3 weeks apart. Yeah. Like exactly 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think, I don't know if I've ever said this, because we've talked about this a lot, and how often you bring up what it meant to you to be at my house, how often you've brought that up. Me welcoming you there, or you having a space to kind of break away from the noise and be somewhere else. It lets me know, as often as you've brought that up, it lets me know how much it must have either meant to you then, or in hindsight, you realize how much it meant to you then. And I don't know if I've ever responded to that. I always have a feeling about it, but I don't know if I ever vocalize that feeling. I'm honored. I'm honored that I could be that friend for you. And you were also the same for me. I loved when you came over, and because I also had a camp, and I had relationships in that camp, people that I considered great friends. That might be an overstatement. Maybe at the time I did, but I always there was always a bit of hesitation, or I don't know the right word, but I always had my guard up still a little bit with everybody. There are very few, I'm trying to think back, but there are very few that I felt fully comfortable with being myself, or that I fully trusted. And I can't think of one. And the one that I could maybe think of stabbed me in my back. Big time. So I also got out of you what I think you got out of me. Fastlane is the only exception. But I'm talking about in the other world. He wasn't really part of that. Maybe that's part of why we loved music so much, because it was a break from all the other stuff we were doing for the rest of the day.
Right. I believe it was
the people we associated. Well, we associated with a lot of other people, but it was where you and me and Fastlane got to get together, and that was an escape from all the other madness.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a solid bridge, I believe, for a lot of us to just, go to and from on. You know what I'm saying? And
did you trust? Maybe you don't want to talk about that. I don't know. I feel silly that I threw that out there. Now I'm not going to ask the question. But you don't have to answer this. Punt it if you don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you trusted, outside of me? I don't know how close you and Fastlane really were, but do you?
Well, me and Fastlane is, just to be transparent, if it wasn't for Fastlane, I would have never developed the way that I developed as an artist, as a producer.
Letting you borrow the keyboard, showing you stuff.
He showed me.
He took you under his wing a little bit.
For a whole, he was the wing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was the whole. He showed me.
I remember he used to hit you with the Triton. You used to take it and go make beats with it.
But before
you used to go to Guitar Center, bro,
and just make beats all day.
Respect,
you know what I'm saying?
Respect.
But I remember,
bro. That's when you making it happen, bro. Mm-hmm. People be having excuses. You used to take a disc and go to Guitar Center and put the disc in their keyboard and make beats.
I think I'm the reason why they put the disc blockers.
Oh, did they?
I think so. You know what I'm saying? I remember
that.
You just got those people who just hate, man. Like this dude. I remember. He just sit there with his arms folded, like he couldn't say nothing though.
Yeah,
you know
it's
like you here making a whole. Because I kind of did get
that is bold though.
Making like 2-3 beats. You know what I'm saying? There
bro,
for 2 hours.
I wish you would have blew up just to be able to tell that story. That I couldn't even afford a keyboard. I made these beats in the Guitar Center.
I was trying to create a sound for the city.
That would have made a great. That would have made a great ad campaign too, like alignment with like an endorsement. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but I just Fastlane was like, if it wasn't for him, I would have never been able to really, I think, show and prove, that I could trade bars with Cash and with Rebs. You know what I'm saying? And with him,
yeah, he
was the one that was patient with me. Through the whole ADAT system. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would literally encourage me every time. I didn't understand the work he was having to put in, though. He'd be like, bro, do you want to punch? And I'm just like, nah, you was able to go all the way through. Like, I'm going to be able to.
You hated punching, I remember.
I could not stand it, man. I just felt like I was less.
You would go again and again and again and again and again until you got it. And sometimes you would blow right through it, but other times you would get stuck and we'd be there for an hour doing the same verse and I'd be like, you want to punch? Nah. I'm like, bro, punch the damn verse.
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you though, man, it's stuff like that and the patience like that. Now that I look back, I realize that's what grew. I didn't realize that's what was happening, but it's like when a person has such patience towards you, like Fastlane had, because he has to be, the ADAT system was different. Like, you had to, it was not as technologically advanced.
You had to rewind it and all this, yeah.
And he was, doing that, and he just he never pushed the line like, hey, bro, you punching from here.
Right,
he was letting me develop.
And other people would have, for sure.
Of course. You know what I'm saying?
Most would have.
Cashes and the Red, Cash, he wasn't that patient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I say that to say, Fastlane, I trusted him. He trusted me with his Triton, man, for a week at a time.
That was all he had, bro.
That was all he had, bro.
That was everything he had.
He trusted me with his sample discs. The discs that he loaded samples up on, he didn't have duplicates. He let me hold them things, and he would tell me, be careful with these, you know what I'm saying? And I would load them up, and I had to buy all my own floppies, load them up, and then create my own sample discs. But yeah, I trusted Fast. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask you, do you feel like, okay, this is two parts of the same question. Then, did you feel like you had people outside of me that you could trust, friends that you trusted fully, and looking back on it, do you believe you really could trust those people if you did have people that you felt like you could fully trust? You know what I mean? So did you feel like you could trust them then? And looking back on it now, do you think you were right if you did?
So yes and no. So there's like, there's the ones that I grew with before the initiation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The ones that tried to talk me out of gangbanging, the ones that was like, this is not you. You know what I'm saying? Go play football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't go into all of those details, but it was more, sure, when I look back on those guys and then how the transition, you know, a phase at a time begin to happen, and you get more, at the time, you think that the more the more work you put in and the more proven you become, the more respect you garner, and that's what ultimately develops this trust. But man, I understand trauma bonds all too well now, to where I know that a lot of that, you know, a lot of that was misunderstood. Like I didn't have the greatest understanding of what trust was, and to the degree that I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so yeah,
define that.
So I'm gonna say for instance,
what is trust?
What is trust? So trust is, for me,
and don't pull out the dictionary either.
I'm doing everything I can, and I
from your heart, bro. From your heart. Yeah. What does it mean to you?
I'm doing everything I can, and I grab my phone right now. You know what I'm saying? And look up the official definition. But trust for me is,
I'll let you do that after you give me your definition.
Trust is, because there's two. I think it's one. There is like, my wife, in her mother's community, there's a big gate, and just by the looks of things, so I'm speaking of like the trust of, like the naive trust, like, you know what I'm saying, like choosing to be naive in the sense of believing like no one's gonna go in my car and take anything.
Security.
So I leave my car unlocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, I just get out of the car and I go in the house. And I know and I believe that when I come out, everything is going to be the same way I left it in my car. No one's going to take it.
Are you talking about safety?
No, I'm talking about trusting everybody in this neighborhood to not steal from me. And I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
And
okay.
So,
okay.
You know, as you put yourself around certain people that you've experienced certain things with, you know, I can't go drive down into the deep and go into the 7-Eleven without locking my car door, because someone just as quick as I walk in the door could potentially hop in my car, you know what I'm saying, and grab whatever they might think is valuable. If it's a backpack on the seat, that's just where my mind goes. So I say this, it's the same thing with people. There are people who I can be right in the midst of, like you, and know that you're going to protect me from the things that, you know, I could ultimately fall back into. So you're going to protect me from a gun. Like, you're not going to be the one to be like, hey, let's drive to the store. Knowing that guns used to be one of those things, and have a gun in the car, knowing that I've already told you that I don't want to be nowhere near a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can trust that even if you had a gun in the car, you would tell me, bro, like, I'm concealed carrying right now. I don't know if you want to ride or not. Like, I trust that you would that you would let me know. I'm kind of getting long and drawn out about this.
No. I think you got to think it out. I knew it was
because
it's a tough question.
So I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I trust you as someone who I can leave all this camera equipment here, you know, this whole setup, and you are going to call me if there's an earthquake and say, hey, you might want to take these cameras off the tripods. You know what I'm saying?
So trust, yes, for sure. So trust is funny because the other word I was thinking about also starts with this. So trust and truth both start with TRU, right? Trust, truth. And then this other one doesn't start with a TRU, but it starts with a TR, transparency. I think all of those words are connected.
Right.
Trust, you trust that the truth, what you're seeing, and transparency, what you're seeing is what it is. If I say it's this, it's this. If we have the idea that this is what we're doing or this is what it's about, then that's what it really is. If you know that this is how I feel, you're operating with that same understanding. If you know that I don't want to be around guns, then you're going to be transparent about that. So all these things, to me, if I kind of try to put them into a word or a couple words, trust means that what I see is what I get. You know, that I know that if you tell me something, I can believe it. If we're doing something and we say this is what we're doing, then that's what we're actually doing. That there's no hidden agendas. There's no backstabbing, behind the back, lies, nothing sneaky going on. Just truth, right? Clean, like clean water. There's nothing else in it. It is what it is. Is that accurate?
Yeah. But I'm not going to say but, and
yeah,
I believe that trust.
I think there's more too.
Yeah, because there's different. I think trust. Like when I came home, I didn't trust myself around. Now I'm not affiliate. I'm a non-affiliated person who was so affiliated at one point that living counter to how I once lived is something that I've never done outside of prison. So it's like I can't trust myself around the people who are from the same or operating within the same mindset that are telling me, hey, bro, you know, it's good that you're home. Come through. We know that you're not on that no more, but come through. You know what I'm saying? We got something for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you doubt maybe if their intentions are.
It's not even them.
What?
It's me. I'm saying.
Oh,
so
you.
There's some things that we don't trust ourselves with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like some people who stop drinking, they don't trust having a bottle in the home.
Right.
Some people do.
Right.
Some people like, you can drink around me. We can go to a bar and you can go with your homie and he can drink and you like good. But some of us, I couldn't trust myself in the circle. I remember there was people that was reaching out to me. There was one person that I could trust myself around, and that was AJ. The only reason why we connected, I was in a halfway house, is because Karina was having a baby. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, bro, we would love for you to be here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, I didn't want to go against my commitment. My commitment was like, until you can trust yourself, because I was the one that would always go. If I'm around you and someone pulls up and they own some stuff and you get jumped on, I don't trust myself to not react, because it hasn't happened in years, but even though I'm far removed from it, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? How I might respond. So I was telling AJ, man, you like my cousin. It was us before the gang. So it was like, I can't be around you because I can't trust myself to not do what I've been practicing. But eventually I began to trust myself and him, myself around him, and him with the new me, so much so that, yeah, every time he called and every time he needed to dialogue, I would pull up, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's the other, like, I think trust, there's so many dimensions that you can go. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the trusting people too, you know what I'm saying? Or trusting environments. Like, I didn't think that law enforcement wanted me home. So I didn't trust them with, right, because I know that there were times that there were false testimonies against me,
right,
you know, in the court of law. And so it's like, I came home way earlier than they anticipated, what might they do to put me back? You know what I'm saying?
But
it all connects. You're saying the transparency, trust, and truth. I believe that is the foundation of a healthy trust.
Sure. The other piece that you just kind of made me think about though is intentions. Right?
That's biggest. That's probably the biggest. The overarching. Those three things: transparency, trust, and truth. They will lead, depending on
behind
what you
your
hold,
intentions.
Right. They will lead your intentions, you know what I'm saying, or be the momentum behind your intentions. If your transparency is shot out, if your truth is wonky, and you're in this place to where you what was it? Transparency, truth,
trust, and truth, yeah. But,
okay. I thought you had three T's.
No. No, it's transparency and trust, but so it's an interesting idea, right? Because
transparency and truth, you're saying.
Yeah,
are the
truth.
Foundations of good of a solid trust.
Yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't even necessarily need to be that you're a good person. I could argue that if you were true about your intentions, that you are a bad person. I'm just going to make it general, right? I can trust you. That doesn't mean I want to be aligned with you, but I can trust you. There could be, it's very rare that you're going to see this, but there could be somebody that's like very honest. Like, I am going to rob stores every day. Just a BS example. I can trust that person that I know what they're about. Even though I may not agree with it, I don't like it, I don't want to be around it, but I can trust because they're being true and honest and transparent about their intentions. I know what their intentions are. Thank you for being honest about your intentions so I can stay away from you. I know what you are. Now, it's very rare that somebody like that is also very honest and true, because if they were, they would find a different place in their heart and they would go a different direction. However, I'm just saying, for an example, it could be possible that somebody could be transparent about their truth and their true intentions, and those being bad. And you could say, I can trust that person because at least they're being honest and clear about what their intentions are.
Yeah, I had that example.
It's knowing their intentions, right?
Someone literally told me, bro, you know, you might want to stay away from me because you on a different path. He literally was like, it's somebody I grew up with before the gang, though.
There it is.
Right. He was like, stay away from me. I still got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. He literally said this.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And he cared enough about you to be honest with you and transparent about his intentions. So that's what trust is knowing what the intentions are.
And this person knew all too well that every time I came home, that I would try, you know, one time I was like, I'm not carrying pistols no more. You know, get shot at. And now it's like, dang. Like, I didn't think about what the response would be to someone shooting at me. I just know I don't want to intentionally be carrying no gun to shoot nobody. But now it's like, dang, I got to get a gun. Mm-hmm. And I got to, you know, rectify this situation. End up locked up again. Now it's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stop hanging out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not only am I not going to have a gun, I'm going to stop hanging out. Then, so it's like there were things that some people that were the closest to me knew I was doing my best to try because I was always showing up and I would always catch the case. And so he was just like, stay away from me. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be the reason why you feel like you need to jump back out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still hot. You know what I'm saying? So, in that sense,
love.
That's love, bro. And that garners a certain type of trust.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
Because when that same person tells you it's all good, you can trust it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when that person calls you 3 years later and it's like, bro, I just want to tell you, I see you. You've been making it count. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been making some changes myself.
Yes.
Not only are they saying you can trust me now to be around, but like you can trust that person, when they say they want to be around you, they know exactly what they want to be around.
So on this same, yes, we're getting somewhere good. Go ahead.
Because some people, that's it too. I know that there was a part of what he didn't. This is so deep. He didn't know how to trust. A lot of these dudes, especially the ones that came into my life without having the context of growing up with me from grade school up. It's like all they know is the moniker. All they know is the one who will go. They don't know the timid me. They don't know like the course, the person that had to go through all of the
that you
stuff.
had to be pumped up for your first fight.
Man, that I had to be threatened into my first fight.
Right,
you know
right.
By someone that I love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
However, it's like I don't know how to trust me around you because bro, who are you? You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even in a way that was that was like, who are you? Like, excuse me, I don't know who you are, but it was like, you know, it was hard. It seemed like it was hard for people to call me Timothy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just stopped trying to correct people because I realized like, that's all they've ever known. Like some of these dudes have never even known Timothy. They've only known, you know, me by my moniker. It wasn't too long ago, real quick. I'm just gonna jump here for a second. I was talking with someone, and I'm not saying this to be, you know, weird or anything. If you see this, you know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing this as an example of like how you come to understand that people really don't know you, you know, like you think they do. And so there's an individual who I wanted to, you know, I wanted to connect with to just be in space with him, younger individual from the neighborhood, just wanted to be in space with him. I'm at a point now to where I can trust myself around this person. And even though the music that he produces and puts out is it projects in it and it encourages, you know, a life that I don't live. It's not really even gangbang stuff. It's just the complete opposite of what I'm on. Like, you know, it's so, but the goal was to line up. Anyway, longer story short, I had texted him and I had sent him, I think, a song or a beat or something, and was like, hey, let me know. And we just had a conversation not too long ago at like a funeral or something. And I was like, this is Timothy. You know what I'm saying? Let me know when you got time, you know, let's connect, let's make it count. It's about that time. And he hit back like, who is Timothy? And there was a part of me that felt offended, but I was like, surely he's like clowning, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you thought he was joking?
I thought for a minute, but then I realized in that same minute there was that reality of like, it seemed so genuine. He just did not know who this was. And I was like, I sent a picture, but it was like a picture, like an updated picture of me, you know what I'm saying? It was like a headshot kind of picture. You know what I'm saying? I had just taken it and it was accessible. And he was just like, I don't know it, Timothy.
After you sent them to the picture?
Bro, it threw me all the way off. And so I'm like, oh, he's trolling now. You know what I'm saying? Like clowning. So I'm like, so I wait for a minute and then it was like, how did you get my number?
He was serious.
I was like, wow. I said, you know what? You right. You don't know me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, so I deleted the picture. And then I was just like, I just texted, next time I see you, I'll remind you of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't texted since. And I thought about that. I'm like, man, it goes back to what you said. It's things like that that make you think, can I trust this person?
Right.
Because this person can't even recognize me. But in my heart, it does something. It switches you. In my heart, I'm thinking so much so that you have to know who I am because I watched you grow up. I was around you so much. But this person only knew me as the moniker, his image of me. He would have only been able to conjure up if I would have said, this is such and such such. and then would have clicked for him. And I'm just like, man, do I need to be around people like that? That's
right.
That could be dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even for me, because I did have to go back and forth, I felt kind of upset. But then with all due respect to him, it's like he is in a space where I once was.
Totally.
Where it's like,
you got to understand that.
I only identify who I can identify when I'm able and put in a position to try to identify you.
When you're in it, bro.
And so, but it just goes to say, it's like, even in that sense, it's like, I can't trust myself around this person because this person doesn't even, I mean,
you could trust yourself.
Exactly.
You can't trust him.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And not in the sense of he would do me no harm, but it's like, if you don't know who I am, then you can't possibly understand what I'm on.
And his intentions aren't clear either because he's obviously blinded by something. So even what he says, he may not be correct about.
Exactly.
Because his intentions are skewed.
Right.
I think that's a good place that we got to, though, is like transparency of your intentions. That's kind of what trust is like, I know what your intentions are. You know, I know because another piece of that, which is, I guess it's just adding more color to the same idea. I've always hated this idea of white lies. You know what I mean? I've always hated the idea of white lies being less of a lie, less of an issue, less detrimental. Like I've always hated that idea that they're somehow more acceptable
or more smaller than just
that they don't matter as much, right?
Yeah.
And I actually see it the opposite. That's why it bothers me. Because if you can't even tell me the truth about something small, how could you tell me the truth about something that actually matters, like a big deal, right? If you can't even conjure up the strength or the courage or whatever it is to be honest with me about some little thing, how are you going to find that within you when it's something that I'm going to be upset about or that's going to hurt my feelings? You probably can't. Right. So I see it the opposite. It's like saying, if I can't lift 10 pounds, how am I going to lift 100 pounds? Right. And so it's almost like that's what's going on when you excuse a white lie is you're like, oh, I can't lift this 10 pounds, but don't worry. When it's 100 pounds, I'll lift it. How? I learned a long time ago I arrived at this idea a long time ago that the only reason tell me how you feel about this. The only reason you lie is out of fear for the other person's reaction, right? So if I'm lying to you, it's because I fear that if I tell you the truth, how you're going to react to that. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be angry. It could mean I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm afraid that if I tell you something, you're going to be sad. Whatever it is, it's fear. I lie because I'm afraid of the other person and how they're going to react and how they're going to feel or what they're going to do or what's going to happen next. It's a fear. You lie because you're afraid. And when I realized that, I didn't like that because I used to lie a lot when I was a kid. And I used to probably lie a lot as a young adult, just out of insecurity and wanting to project whatever I wanted to project. I lied a lot. Lied to myself. And I think when I arrived at that idea, that was one of those aha moments where I was like, the only reason you lie is because of fear. Well, I can't consciously, now that I know this, lie, knowing every time I lie, I'm basically saying I'm afraid. I can't do that because I'm not afraid. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to be a fearful person. And I try my hardest to identify whenever I'm operating in fear and face it. I try to be intentional about I like the way I just said that because I didn't want to say I'm never afraid. I try to face my fears. That's what I try to do. I try to not let my fears guide me or control me. I try to say, okay, if I'm afraid, the right thing to do is to face it. And that's been true. That's worked out well in my life. So I think my point is my attachment to the idea of lying, which is maybe you could argue is the opposite of trust, being unclear about your intentions. But my attachment to that idea of lying is that it's weakness or that it's fear. And so for that, I dislike it. I dislike it in myself. I'm saying for me to be telling a lie, and I can't say that I have not lied at all. Maybe I've told the small untruths at some point. Probably just trying to, you know, I don't even know if it would be like, you know, maybe it's something like somebody I don't really want to hang out with is like, hey, come here. Maybe I made up I got this to do and I really don't. You know, like that's the only time I'm probably lying. And even that, I don't like it. I would much rather say to that person, I don't want to hang out. And I try to. I have tried to arrive at a place where now I'm just and I've learned because I want to be honest all the time. I've actually developed a defense mechanism or a tool where I can say the uncomfortable truth and just try to make it funny. Be so blunt and so blatant and say it kind of laughing that it's so blatant that it's funny. Where you can say, hey, you want to go hang out? And I just go, I don't want to do that. And it's so blunt and honest that all you can do is laugh. Oh, well, damn. Yeah, hey, it's nothing to you. I just don't want to do it. I don't really do anything. I pretty much go to work. I go home, hang out with my kids. I don't want to go to the party. I hate parties. Please don't, if you get married, please don't invite me. I don't want to go to your wedding. I don't want to go to funerals. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do any of it. You're a social butterfly, so I feel like you're always somewhere. But I don't want to do anything.
Like these days, I mean, I'm definitely willing to participate in opportunities to be like social in a healthy way. And Keisha's the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a community of individuals where I know this is going to happen, like great conversations among men, or even where the men and the women are going to have great conversations, I'm going.
Right.
Because I want my kids, especially where the kids can be there too, because in the midst of them going from the playrooms to the bathrooms and they're seeing healthy, you know, in contrast to what I grew up seeing, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's so great you're doing that for your kids. I wish I did more of that for my kids because I've been antisocial for so long that I feel like I've robbed them from those interactions because I wasn't social enough. I really feel bad about that.
How do you see that though? What do you see that playing out in their social capacity, or?
I feel like maybe because of their natural demeanor that they get from me, but also I kind of attribute it to being because of that. They have taken a lot longer to become comfortable around people. They're very shy around people because I haven't exposed them to a lot of people. That I've kept them in a bubble with me, you know, family. Our family's always together. We're always doing things, but we don't have friends come over to the house. I can't remember the last time somebody came to our house. These days, there's always somebody at our house because the girls are 16, 17, and so they have friends, and so they're always over there. But us having a friend over, when's the last time you've been to my house?
2 years ago.
It was longer than that. It had to be.
No, it was 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. It was...
You might be the last person that came to my house.
The latest, it was 3 years ago.
You might have been
Y'all had chickens.
Oh, that had to be longer than that. You might have been the last person. Maybe there's been one or two people that have come to the house since then, aside from family, like, you know, my wife's parents or whatever. But my sister, you know, that's it, bro. And so I feel like I've robbed them of that. Now, my daughters have grown up and they have friend groups and they're social. And then I was also a shy kid, and I'm still kind of a shy person. People don't believe that about me, but I am. And so some of it, I wonder if it's just partially genetic and I'm being too hard on myself that, you know, I should have brought them around more people. But I do believe that even if that's how you naturally are, you can develop that muscle of social interaction. And even in me, because I'm a shy person, the more I'm isolated, the more that part of me takes over where I'm shy and it's harder for me.
It's not like, is it more introverted or are you saying shy or introverted?
What's the difference? Don't Google it.
I think being shy is being like apprehensive to engage because of how you might feel within the engagement. I think introverted is just more of I am more like, I don't know. I think it can be related, but I think it's more introverted is more so like you are conditionally set personality wise to, if not engaged, like you're not gonna engage, like you're not going to seek, like, so like you said, you can.
That's not me. I'm shy. I think for me, there's just like a barrier to entry.
Well, introverted, like you said, you will keep you and your family, you know, as far as like peers, you would keep you and your family not isolated, but like you were saying, like you wouldn't necessarily be, you wouldn't lead them socially into a whole bunch of social, you know, opportunities outside of the immediate family, the grandmother, the grandfathers, the aunties, the uncles, you know what I'm saying, versus being shy to do that. I think would be more so have a lot to do with, not to say that you can't be introverted and be a little apprehensive, but I think being shy initially is more like when you don't want to go talk to a girl because you're shy, because you don't know how you're going to be perceived, versus introverted. It's like, I don't really care what you think about me. I'm just not going to be the one to be.
No. I think I'm extroverted.
Oh, you think you're extroverted?
Yeah. But I think the shyness that you described, that's more me. This is the way I would describe it. And maybe it's just a complex way to be, but which we are complex people. For me, it's more like two things. One is stage fright, right? It's the initial warming up to the interaction that's the hardest for me. And so I avoid that because that first couple minutes of interaction until we get warmed up is hard for me. Just like stage fright, right? You might be super sweaty backstage and nauseous and afraid, but then not everybody's like that, but some people are. And then once you get up there and you start doing your thing, you loosen up and everything is fine. And now you're enjoying it and you're like, I love this. I want to do it again. But the anticipation of that first moment, it wreaks havoc on you. You know, it's really, really hard.
It's hard for me to see that with you for some reason.
Totally. I've learned that I'm very, very good at covering up. It's funny because there's been times where I feel like that's written all over my face, and then I realize somehow, some way, through maybe I see something on video or somebody tells me or whatever, I've seen enough reflection of myself to learn that those thoughts and feelings are only happening in my head and nobody's actually seeing it. It's not showing outwardly in the way I talk and the way I conduct myself, carry myself. Nobody sees any of that, but I see it. So one is I get this stage fright, not with everybody, but with most people. Not with you, because we have spent a lot of time together and we have a connection. Not with my family, but with...
Is it kind of related to, like, remember a few conversations ago you were talking about, I wonder if they can see, like, me, you know?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying is there's a whole other part of me, because people think about me as being this. I know how people see me. I know how people see me because some part of that.
How you project, bro. Like,
I know.
You project very, not only confident, but you project very, very matter of factly, but in the sense of, like, I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of. And for a lot of people, individuals who project that or operate in that way to where you can see it, they're the less likely to believe to be shy.
Like I said, I'm a complex individual because that's not an act. That's who I really am. But in order for me to access that in social interactions, I have to first pass through that barrier of that social anxiety, that stage fright. That's the best way to describe it. It's like stage fright. You know, like somebody might go up there and be the greatest performer and love what they do, but getting to that place, it takes work. It's hard.
That's interesting. What would you say that that barrier to entry is for you?
I think if I had to really hit it on its core, it's probably a fear of judgment. Of, like, you know, and I don't know where exactly that comes from. It could come from, you know, growing up. I had a rough time in school when I was young You know, the teachers all hated me. The kids all made fun of me. I was younger than everybody. I started school early and I skipped a grade. So, and I was also just immature. I was just a goofy kid in general. So I was 2 years younger than everybody and I was goofy. Everybody hated me. Everybody hated me. It wasn't until 7th grade that I got my first friend. Like, nobody liked me. The teachers called my parents every day. I got kicked out of class. I got embarrassed by the teachers because they hated me. I had a rough start. My parents hated me. Everybody hated me. You know, so that was my whole upbringing, was just being like isolated and just learning that, like, damn, people don't like me. And then I finally got a friend. And then I finally got a girlfriend, and I finally had a close friend. And I've had a few very close friends in my childhood that probably saved my life, you know, because there was a time where I wanted to kill myself. I've told you about this. And so if it wasn't for those 3 or 4 friends that I had from 7th grade to, you know, before I dropped out of high school, you know, in that 4 year span there, because I only went to 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and that was it. I dropped out in 11th grade. So the couple close friends that I had in that time that for some reason saw something in me, and even though I was the kid nobody liked, they were like, "No, I fuck with him." Like, those people probably saved my life. But my point is, maybe I still carry something. And my mom, you know, always, like, she really traumatized me, and I've dealt with it, so I can talk about it, you know, but I still have to wonder sometimes, is there a lasting residual impact of your mother, the person that you love the most and that's supposed to guide you and care for you and protect you the most, just every day telling me she hated me, every day telling me I was the reason for all her problems. That compacted with how I was treated in school. Like, I just got a lot of negative feedback that people don't like me. And so I'm grateful to be at this place now where everybody loves me. It's crazy, the glow up from feeling like that. I'm not saying I ever believed it about myself, but getting all that negative feedback and now landing on my feet and being like, wow, like, not only does not everybody hate me, but I think everybody loves me, and I have a lot of love for everybody. Like, I'm so grateful to have landed in this place of love with the world. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody I come in contact with loves me, to the point where I know that I'm such a good person, and I know I have so much love to give. That's why I have confidence, because I know how much love I have to give. It's not because I think I'm the greatest. It's because I think what God has given me and the love that I'm giving, that's great. It's not me that I think is great. The love that I'm giving, I think, is great.
But the judgment that you were saying could be the barrier to entry. That is,
because I don't know why it's still there.
Right, but I'm saying that's.
I get nervous about interacting with not even new people. I get nervous about interacting even with people that I know, but I just haven't seen them for a week or a month or a couple days.
How did you feel when I hit you up, when I called you? You know, when I called you, it's almost like 8 years ago now, 7 years ago. After, you know, I had been on for not too long, but I called you. I was nervous when I called you, but I wanted to share that story with you about just where I believe running into that, and it happened in the way that it did, and even just coming to the realization, I said, I believe God was like, it was not I don't really believe in coincidences, but it was just like, call this dude.
Right.
But not only for the sake of telling him this and like the story, but because now it's time, you know what I'm saying? But I still was nervous because I didn't know, I was really apprehensive. I didn't know how, first of all, I didn't know how you would feel about the fact that I was in a position to mentor that situation. And I didn't know how you really felt about me now. You know what I'm saying?
So the divine intervention that was, I was already in that mode at that time to deflect any invitation to hang out, talk, not from you, from everybody. I was already locked into that mode. Business, family, I don't want to hang out. I don't drink. I don't do any, especially when I stopped drinking, then it just really, because the drinking for people like me who have that social anxiety, it's a really nice social lubricant, as they call it, right? Because it takes away your apprehensions and inhibitions, and it eases the path of like starting interaction with people, right? So that whole stage fright thing goes away, which is dangerous because if you have that feeling, there's a temptation to solve it with drugs and alcohol because it makes life easier, but it eventually makes life a lot harder and worse, and you never develop that muscle. You have to just face it. That's a tangent. The divine intervention that was, the same thing happened when you hit me up, because I was already in that mode to push everything away regardless of you, but just no. And it probably did make me feel anxious a little bit, but I don't remember the anxiousness of it. I remember just thinking, okay, it was time. God put that in me that it's time. So I didn't question it. I didn't have the hesitation that I would have expected to have. It was like, hey, come by. Okay, I'm on my way. I remember almost like, you know how like if you're standing at the edge of the pool and you're hesitant to get in because you're like, oh, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And then at some point you just dive. I remember having that moment kind of feeling like just dive in. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here standing on the edge of the pool. Should I go? I just went, yeah. Dive in. Mm-hmm. I had very little, if any, hesitation. I can't remember the moment exactly, but I do remember that, just not really questioning it and just going, okay, which surprised even me. Maybe a little bit like, let's go. You know, like I wasn't thinking about it. It was just, I guess the only way to say it is it was time, man. It was just time. It was time for us to reconnect and life put us back together. And so because of that, it was very easy. But even with people, it surprises me, man. Even to go see my dad, I get social anxiety. To go see Fastlane. With some people, it's less. Now, this is somebody I used to spend every day with.
Right.
Who I have no concerns that he's judging me or any of that. So I'm confused by it. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, my dad loves me, you know, like he's so happy to see me. The reason I don't go see him more probably is because of that. Because I don't want to deal with that social anxiety. It's one of the last plagues that I really am battling with in my life is that, you know, it's probably what stops me from going out and trying to be more of a positive impact in the world, doing more of the kind of stuff that you do, where you spend more time being around people and trying to impact them as much as you can with what you've learned and what you've gained through life. I don't do that as much. I do force myself to it from time to time, but not as much as I would if that just wasn't even an issue for me. I wish that I didn't have that wall between me and social interactions that I have to climb every time. But I do. And I wouldn't say that I spend a lot of time working on it. But what I have learned is that the more I do it, the more that wall comes down. Mm-hmm. You know, there's really, for me, it's like exercise. It's like going to the gym. It's like, okay, how can I start lifting 200 pounds? Well, start lifting 20 pounds and do that every day. Don't give up. Then lift 50, then lift 80. You work up to it, and next thing you know, here you are. And so that's how I've been that way, where I've worked up to it and I've built a tolerance, you know, for social interaction where it doesn't bother me like that. And I can just go into any situation without, you know, any inhibitions or any of that. Yeah. But I'm in a place right now where I'm in that room and then I'm at home and then I'm in that room. The good thing for me has been like, at least like my kids' games, you know, I'm standing on the sideline interacting with all the parents. They all love me. You know, and so I'm a social butterfly there because I'm around them a lot, especially in the season where I'm seeing them during the week for practices. On the weekends, that muscle is flexed a little bit. So with them, I'm like, hey, I'm myself. That's what I'm saying. I'm not an introvert, right? Like when I get past that, I'm all over the place. I'm actually the loudest person in the room. You're going to hear me. I'm joking with everybody. I'm high-fiving. I am loud. I'm colorful. That's who I really am. And it's weird to me that I'm so, you know, I'm so shy. And people don't think that because by the time you hear from me, I've already obviously overcome that block, right?
Do you think social anxiety causes the shyness, or do you think it's just all in all social anxiety?
I think for me, they're one and the same. I think it's the same thing. You know, that's what I think, that's how I'm describing. It's just another way I'm describing my shyness, is like this, I get an anxiety around social interactions. And I really do. Like, if I know that we're going to my wife's parents' house for the whole half a day until we go down there, I'm thinking about it. I'm nervous about it. I'm like not happy about it. And as we're driving down there, as we're getting closer to the house, I'm starting to get nervous as if I'm about to go on stage. And then the first couple of moments are treacherous for me. Hey, and I'm like looking for safety somewhere. I'm looking for somewhere where I can calm down and relax. There's a lot of times I even go to a social interaction and I'll do the first initial, few moments of, hey, how's it going? And I'll be like, is there a bathroom? And I don't even have to use the bathroom. I just need to go have that first, dive in and then break away and be by myself for a second and take a couple deep breaths and then come back.
That's interesting you're saying that, man. Like, I do, it's crazy as I'm listening to you and I'm asking those questions, because I have to ask myself that. Like, I don't believe I'm shy at all, but I do believe that there are some things that lead me to avoidance when it comes to the opportunity to be social with certain classes and with certain demographics of people. You know what I'm saying? Especially
that. If I don't feel like they're going to accept me, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I don't even think it's an acceptance thing. I think it's more of I can't even put my finger on it, but I think because if I think long enough on it, if it is a business situation and there's a bunch of millionaires, like I went to this opportunity in, it was a mastermind, 2018, and dang, man, it's a place that a lot of people with a lot of money go often, but this was a very unique experience. And I tell you, the fact that it was me and two other individuals there, who the reason why we were there was because we were in this program in prison, that the CEO was navigating this situation, and we were scholarshiped in. I remember the awkward questions of, hey.
You were like a zoo animal.
To some of these people, yeah, but
probably
one of the things I realized was like a lot of these people had family members incarcerated.
Right.
So it was like they were interacting with family members. It's not like they hadn't interacted with people in prison from that lifestyle before.
Yeah.
But it's like you're trying to navigate this situation as a business owner. Everybody was an entrepreneur. But there were a lot of millionaires who were very much climbing up and increasing their net worth, even just by being there. Mm-hmm. The networking that was taking place with these individuals at this time, I look back now and I'm like, dang, the opportunities that I believe I may have missed on because I didn't feel like I fit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel
feel worthy.
I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel seen, and I didn't feel like I was in the class. Because they were speaking about entrepreneurship. A lot of them had been in entrepreneurship and failed so many times, but had gotten back up, and now they're doing it. And I'm just like, man,
you're not there yet.
I'm like I'm like this freshman, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to I'm in this high school or in this college of but anyway.
And it's okay for that to be intimidating.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I understand that that's a part of the path, you know what I'm saying? And intimidation should be harnessed, you know what I'm saying? And it's
unfortunate because you should have known that they're not expecting from you what you think you're supposed to be. Well, they knew already who you were.
Well, I think...
or where you were, I should say.
I think I'm saying this too because I'm hoping to get to a point to where I understand that type of anxiety is to be leveraged because... There are people that I think were trying to tell me, instead of just being candid, they were trying to tell me, hey, relax, you belong here.
Right.
But they were saying it in a way like, hey, man, how's it going? So tell me about your business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you've been in business for how long?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they were just trying to be.
They were trying to warm you up.
They were trying to warm me up. But then I think there were moments where they were pushing past them being socially awkward with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, hey, I can only carry so much of the weight here, buddy.
And they would come in, say their piece, and get out. But it was just like for the guys and the girl, and for the men and the women that had experienced falling out of the comfortability of being who they were in entrepreneurship and had to fight up the steps of, you know, falling from wherever they were at to failure and then having to climb up. I look back on it now and I'm like, man, you know, I don't want to have to depend on that no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to depend on the people in the room that have the experience to come to me and tell me, hey, you know, I can identify that you're extremely socially under pressure right now. Like, let that go, man. That's not going to do you no good here. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like what you're sharing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that in certain environments, if it's as a soccer dad, you're on these sidelines and you're consistently in. But for like someone like me who might be bringing my kids to play on a soccer team for the first time,
right?
And I see someone like you from afar,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Interacting with everyone, I'm probably deep down inside gonna hope that I get to interact with you, but not necessarily know how to interact with you. You know what I'm saying?
I think you helped me really understand this a little bit better too. I want to try to arrive at a place where I don't care what anybody thinks about me.
Right.
Because, and I'm not there yet. And that's what I think people actually think. Like when you say somebody seems confident, what you're maybe saying the underlying is that guy knows he's good and he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. And that's actually not true. For me, it's both. I know that I'm great. I know that I'm great. Like, not just good. I believe that I'm one of the greatest at what? I don't know. Life, business, creativity, love. I don't know. A lot of things. I think I'm a lot of things. But I also care what people think about me. And I think I just realized something is that one of the things that you get from success is not just the money and whatever, but it's that. It's the liberation from fear of judgment. It's the validation. That's one of the greatest things that you get from success in life. Being a millionaire, growing a business, whatever you perceive, fame, whatever it is, what you actually get is you can no longer question whether or not I'm good enough. Mm-hmm. And I get to walk around now liberated from judgment. I don't care. I don't have to care what you think about me anymore, because whenever you start to judge me, I just remind you, remember what I've accomplished. Remember that I'm famous. Remember that I'm a millionaire. Remember that I've grown this business. Remember that I've this or that. And that's why we take whatever the medals are of those accomplishments and we hang them around us, jewelry, cars, homes, whatever it is. And we say, remember, you cannot judge me. You're not allowed to hurt me or make me feel bad about myself because I've done this stuff.
That's why I think that there's a big difference between self-confidence and self-security. Like, you know, there's insecurity and there's a lack of confidence. And some people think or say that, hey, that's one and the same. But when you really think about it, if the more degrees you have, to some degree, the more accomplishments you have, for the people that leverage these accomplishments the wrong way, that helps them to be confident, not necessarily secure. But then you have the other people who are well within themselves, and confidence is not what the accolades and the accomplishments help them to stand on. It's like they're secure. They went after this. It's like what you were saying earlier, I think, about the fact that, I can't remember exactly how you were saying it, but it was like doing what you're doing, like you were saying about what Tony Robbins was sharing with that individual. And it's like, what are you doing it for? If you're doing it for money, mm-hmm. then you're going to lose first with your family every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, then you're losing with yourself first, but it's gonna affect the way that you think about how they see you every time you don't have money coming through.
Right.
Versus if it's all about security, truly, then you're going to make sure that that what you got going on with them first is secure. Like the way they see you, the way they see your pursuit, and the way that you see
purpose.
And the way that they see you like on purpose doing what you're doing.
Right.
I think there is that reality. There's like, you do it for confidence or you do it for security.
That's a great point, that if you're pursuing purpose, you've already won. Along the way, on the journey, you've already won, and you can hang your hat on that. But if you're doing it for a certain, if you need a certain accolade in order for you to feel accomplished or to feel valid and worthy, then everything hinges on that.
And I don't want to cut as crazy as I'm thinking about what I'm saying too. It's like, that's why words are so powerful, because it's like, depending on the context, because I don't want to diminish having confidence, because self-confidence is great. Like if I'm confident in myself as a father, it could.
Yeah, it's confidence in what though?
Well,
Exactly.
I'm saying, if I'm confident that if I'm confident in, it's just like it was an example that you gave about your son, and having an opportunity to share with him about the loss that he experienced. You were confident in your capacity and ability to steward that moment, which is why you gave him the space. Mm-hmm. You gave him the time. You didn't force him for a sense of security within yourself to be like, or his own. Mm-hmm. And don't be out here crying in front of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're embarrassing us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you let him have his moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he came to you. He didn't brush past you to go try to go cry in a corner. Mm-hmm. He came to you. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine what that does for your confidence as a father. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Versus your wanting to be secure in the midst of everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like the situation that you said that happened with the boy.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. That could have been I could have taken that a totally different thing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like what happened with the boy and his father in front of your house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The struggle between confidence and security.
He was worried about his own ego.
Man. And now his son probably will never be confident in going anywhere to try to.
Won't trust him either, because he can't trust the transparency or the truth of his intentions. He thought he was going over their father and son to talk to his other father and son, and he got ambushed by his own dad.
By his own dad. And his dad got ambushed by him.
By himself.
You know what I'm saying? Well, by himself, but I'm saying, like, now you put yourself in a position to get shot down by your own son. Yep. But it's your gun. You gave that to him.
That's
those
a mirror.
Bullets, all of that. He just shooting. Yeah. You taught him how to shoot.
That's right.
Now he like, I'm going to shoot you in front of these people. Yeah. Because you never really taught me how not to do this. Right. We always shoot at each other, but now you gave me the gun, loaded, no safety, in front of these. You think I'm not going to shoot you, Pops?
Yeah, and you over here shooting at me.
Shooting at me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that was wild.
I can imagine. I got to pee real quick.
I got to pee too.
All right.
Should we just cut it?
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. It's been about not that it, time really matters, but we be giving y'all like 2 hours sometimes. And we be like, is it too much? Do we be talking too much? I know you don't probably think that or say that, but when I be looking at it, I'm like, man, we really don't. We do this like, with all due respect, not saying this in pride or nothing, but this just, I think, communicates just how connected we are, because it's effortless. Like we can effortlessly conversate about life in ways. And I think it's rooted in appreciation and just being grateful for having the time and the space to be able to do it.
I don't have anybody else like this in my life that I can sit down every single day and we have to stop ourselves from talking after 2 hours. We'll never run out of shit to talk about. Right. We were already doing this. There's a reason why we're doing this, right? It's like those conversations were happening 10 feet that direction. And it's like, man, we talk about some stuff that probably some people could relate to. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just put it out there. Yeah. Yep. Anyway.
Yep. We're grateful for y'all. We appreciate y'all. This has been
You can't say it today. Randomly intentional.
Yeah, this has been randomly intentional. Oh, man. This has been randomly intentional, ultimately on purpose.
All right.
Y'all be blessed. Have a great day. Stay safe and be well, man.
That's right.